Hey there, everybody! Welcome to a new Dancing with the Stars review, and I am coming to you from a troubled place. I don't know if I should openly root for people as much this season
I
anymore.
know you've lost too.
I was all in on Oak, which is inexplicable because I knew from the moment I was like, oh yeah, Oak is like extraordinarily tall. He's gonna be really bad at this, and yet I came up with the whole in the tree with Oak segment.
Yes, you did. But if you get in the nook with Nelly, we're gonna have a problem. Like you can't
Yeah.
vote for him.
I can't root for Nelly. The Vernon's gone. Like, what is left for me, everyone? I like Johnny Weir too, by the way. We just get into that nonsense that happened at the end of the show.
That was a tough. It was tough tonight.
I have a lot of bones to pick with this episode from start to finish, but before we get into any of it, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. At this point, I very well may need it for emotional support. Hit that notification bell and support us further by checking those links to the store as well as our Patreon.
And also, just so you guys know, we're also covering Bachelorette, and we're also covering Amazing Race. So that's coming up.
A lot of stuff happening this week, but for now, let's just deal with the meat of the issue. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off.
It was really tough. I mean, Vernon had a segment tonight that was all about like his grandpa, and I'm like, my relationship with my grandparents is the same relationship that he had. They had a hand in helping raise me. It's very important to me. Him talking about that, I was just like, oh, my heart, my heart. And then he left, and it was bad. Listen, I'm not saying like he had an amazing dance and what happened, I don't know, but like, yes, I get it. He had a rough dance. He had a rough dance last week as well, but I still love him.
As a person, I love the guy. I want him to be my friend. Like, he seems so friendly and
You
nice.
gotta stop inviting everybody over to the house.
I didn't invite him over tonight. I just,
Tonight, not
Vernon,
tonight.
if you wanna hang out, we
Here
can
we
like
go.
like 6 feet apart outside or something. It's just kind of in the periphery. But I really do like him as a person. I'm not gonna defend the dance itself tonight because I don't think it was particularly great. There was just honestly a part of it was there's just nothing about it in terms of the style of it, the orchestration of it. Nothing felt like it was just popping off the screen.
No, and Johnny had a bit of a rough one tonight too, but he has overall been holding the bar a lot higher.
Do American voters for Dancing with the Stars just hate loud fashion choices? Because Vernon's suit or whatever it was Johnny was wearing, which one of these
Loved
two?
it.
Okay, which one of these two do you prefer? I guess it's clearly whatever Johnny was wearing.
Yeah.
Vernon looked like he had kind of stumbled into a paint tray because he had like the blue thing going on and the pink thing going. I love you, Vernon, but it's like, that suit is not it. I'm sorry.
I was actually surprised but happy that Skye didn't go home tonight, because this is the second time that she's had like a really big stumble. She had one a couple weeks ago where she ended up grabbing on Alan's hair as she was kind of falling over, and then it happened again tonight where she really missed that footing. She did catch back into it again, but she did that other week as well. I was really worried.
I was worried too. I mean, clearly she's got a good following out there of people who are supporting her. Johnny being in the bottom two, maybe
That
this
was
is
also kind of shocking.
yeah. This to me was really shocking because he's a legitimate big name. I think almost everybody out there knows who Johnny Weir is, whether it's just for him being in the Olympics or him covering the Olympics, which I love the Tara shout out in his little segment tonight where we got to see basically, it felt like it was sort of Johnny's like crew, like his squad.
It was cool.
Like,
no, I was really surprised when it started dwindling down. I was like, oh, Johnny's not going to be in the bottom. His fan base is huge.
yeah, like I'm still like stunned by a lot of this, but this is my problem. I really like Johnny. I'm scared to root for Johnny. I'm scared to root for Rochelle at this point because I like Rochelle a lot too. And it's just like, I don't want to do that to her at this point because the curse is in everybody. It started with me picking Kevin to win Big Brother, and it's gone downhill from there.
And the thing is about this group of people is everyone is really likable here. So it's tough. I can't even be like, root for this person because get them off the show. It's just not like that. But we've lost Vernon. The Vernon sermon is over. Instead, now we have the Nelly Nook.
Vernon, still love you. You know, you could have been the prince who was promised for Dancing with the Stars. This is the thing. Like, I'm gonna bring things back to my favorite subject with Dancing with the Stars, which is Kel from last season. So, Kel had that week early in Dancing with the Stars last season where I think he was in the bottom, and I was distraught emotionally for like a couple of weeks. But the thing is that he came back raring to go. He got better and better. Vernon needed to channel Kel tonight. He needed a really big sort of breakout routine, and I was sort of expecting it, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But Vernon, you may not be in the dance floor anymore, but you are in my heart. You don't have to worry about that.
You're dancing in our hearts, Vernon.
Yes, very, very much so. I will stop now before I continue to lose my mind further.
I was actually wondering if part of what happened with Johnny, like, yeah, it wasn't the best dance, but he does have a big fan base, but he also went first in the show. Yeah. And that does hurt when it comes to getting votes, because by the time you've gotten to the voting, whoever's gone first, that's a tough slot.
Johnny, I feel like, and knock on wood here, that not like my head is wood. Johnny is going to be fine. Yeah. He will have a routine next week that'll be really good. He'll get like a 27 or something for it. He'll be later in the show. This, it's a cause for concern in terms of his ability to win Dancing with the Stars, but this is not a go and like gong the bell to tell everyone that he's in immediate danger.
Okay, let's talk about Nev. He got a 26. It was a good dance. He is someone who has been really steady in this competition. Someone that I just wasn't expecting to dance as well as he does, and he has really kept it steady, which is good for now, but he is going to need to pull it out a little bit later if he's going to win this.
The thing with Nev right now is that I think, technically he's great. Like, he is
he is
far better dancer than I thought he was going to be entering the show, and he's likable. I have fun watching him, but I think he's still, like, it feels to me almost like some of his dances are blending in a little bit together. It's like after every episode, it's like I think about Nelly, or I think about AJ, or there's these other people who tend to stand out to me a little bit more, and I don't exactly know what that is, but that's what I worry about a tiny bit with Nev.
Okay, let's talk about Monica. For me, this was my favorite dance of her. She got 27 tonight. We got to know a lot more about her tonight. Like, where was this story during Story Week 2 weeks ago when it was like, everybody tell your stories, and her story was, you're making me feel bad to her dance partner. I was just like, what is happening here? This was the story that I had been waiting for to kind of make a connection. It was just so cool that she had gone on this journey with her husband where it was like, yeah, we had this beautiful romance. We know each other since school, get married, divorce, find their way back to each other, married again. I mean, it's a really, really good story.
This was the best routine I've seen Monica do. I am
Agreed.
In full agreement there. And I come out of this episode, I've never seen Cheer. I don't know that much about her, but I come out of this episode rooting for her a lot more than I think I have this season, just because I kind of know more about who she is. Because I think it's sort of like when I picture just a coach in my head, I think of one of two things. Number one, coach from Survivor, which is probably not a good thing to think about.
Say the coach from Glee.
I was about to go into the next thing I think about is either some variation of Sue Sylvester or like somebody else who's just yelling and awful and mean, and it's like, oh, you messed up on that cheer move. Go do 5,000 laps in the back. It's like, it's nice to see this side.
Well, that's how people get better.
Okay, well, you can get better without being like, I'm pretty sure that's probably not what your coaches do. But
no, I thought this was really nice, and it was nice to see this really sort of beautiful, soft side of her. It was very elegant.
Well, let's spend a minute more here on Skye, because she had some mistakes. Like, I'm not going to deny that. I don't think this was a particularly great routine for her, but there's still a part of me that feels like she is being underscored versus a lot of the other people on this show. It feels like when Skye makes a mistake, it goes down like a point or two lower than anyone else making a mistake.
I agree. I think that whenever she makes a mistake, her score sinks way further than it needs to. 18? Listen, I get that she made a mistake, but the fact that she's able to pick back up again and then get right back into it, that is really hard. And I think that she's getting underscored for that.
I think you should never be giving Skye scores that are anywhere close to Carol Baskin territory. That's the real thing. Do we need to compare a side-by-side of Skye and Carol Baskin?
There's no comparison.
No, she is legitimately talented, and I admire her spirit for not getting, all discouraged and angry about this sort of stuff. I will say, I think it does rally a lot of her social media support. She's probably one of the more socially active people on this show. I think if she withstood this, she's going to be fine for a few more weeks, especially because she's not going to get an 18 again next week unless the judges just gone and lost their minds.
Listen, she better not get another 18. And talking about people who are underscored, let's talk about Nelly. We're moving into now what I'm calling Nelly's Nook, where we talk about how great Nelly is. And listen, he got a 24 tonight, and I think he was also underscored with that. He has been growing every week. I love dancers who grow every week. I did not expect this out of Nelly. When I heard Nelly was on this season, I was like, oh, okay, how is this gonna go? I just don't know anything about sort of his dancing ability. He probably didn't know anything about his dancing ability.
No.
But it was really nice. It was nice to see sort of this more elegant, softer side of him. It was really nice. I liked it. One of my absolute favorite of the night. Nelly, you're doing great. You just keep on doing what you're doing. You're going to win this. You're going to win this. You're going to win this.
I wish I could be I don't actually wish this, but there are times after you pour on your praise for Nelly that I have to try to be, cool your jets a little bit with this. But
not this week, man.
This actually might have been one of my favorite dances of the season. I will go that far with it. It moved me. I'm going to be honest. I actually went and tried to watch it again after the fact, and it wasn't online yet, and I was kind of disappointed because I was very touched by it. I think the choreography was really, really good. I think it catered to Nelly's strengths, and I think he's gotten so much better. This is because at the start of the season, he wasn't wearing the right shoes. No. It felt a little bit at times, I don't want to say cheesy, but it felt a little bit like he was disconnected at times. I couldn't really tell fully, is he in this to win it? And I just feel like something has changed for him over these past few weeks. The light bulb has gone off in his head, and Nelly, if you keep dancing like this, we're all going to be in the Nook together, rooting for you to win Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, no.
I was just about to say, do you really want to welcome me into the Nook? Because that would
not right now. You leave Nelly alone. Hey. Listen, there is something that changed in him a couple weeks ago. He had a dance where he was doing more technical stuff in it, and he was hitting everything right on. And you could see when the judges were like, oh, there is something here. I see it. I see that you can hit these marks. If you just let yourself go and hit these marks, you're a contender. And then the next week he came out, last week, and he just killed it. And then this week, underscored for beautiful dance. Best of the night always.
Always. All right. Well, we're just going to ignore that and move right along.
Oh, no, we're not ignoring that. Always.
Okay,
now we're going to be talking about Jenny May.
Okay, so this is the thing. I love this little section of the show where we got Nelly, Jeannie, and AJ because I feel like these were my three favorite dances of the night. I think all three of them were really good for really different reasons. Jeannie, I just
love her.
It was such a different side of her too.
Yes.
I usually think of her as this upbeat, fun person. It was emotional and elegant, and it was so well danced, and I think I got to know her so much better, and I think she was so connected that it pulled me right into this world.
I also think she got a little underscored with a 25. This was a beautiful dance. She did do something different, and that is what I like about her. She always puts everything into what she's doing. She has a very positive personality. Like, I can feel it coming through the screen. Every time she comes on, I immediately am smiling because of the way that she is. She just has such a positivity about her. And then to come out and give this very real, genuine story about her family and then do this gorgeous dance and get 25, I don't know, man. I think there was some weirdness going on with the scores tonight.
I would have given her a 9. I would have given Nelly a 9 as well. I thought they were both very much worthy of those. At least AJ was scored properly. Like, he was
great.
He was so good.
Really great. This was totally his best dance. He was really in his element with this.
I didn't necessarily like how they overshadowed him with the whole Backstreet Boys gimmick a little while back, but I think that he is such a consummate performer.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about, like, even his package with him being so apologetic all the time, it, like, humanizes him in a really great way. And I loved everything about this routine. I thought it was so well done, and I love him and Cheryl's relationship. Like,
yes, it's so nice that it's turned into, like, Auntie Cheryl, and she's part of the family, and it's just such... He feels like that guy, that when you meet him, everybody's part of your family. I want to be part of the family.
I know, and I didn't expect that from him, because there was... If you're just thinking in terms of, okay, out of all these people, who was at one point probably the biggest, most untouchable star... It was AJ. Like, there were people probably, like, tattooing his face on their face.
I think there's probably people who are still doing that.
Like, it just, like, he is so famous and yet so down to earth. And I love this routine.
All right, let's talk about Rochelle.
Okay, Rochelle, I really did like this, too. She still has a little bit of work to do. Like, she's very raw in a sense. Like, she's got, like, all of this talent that is, like, within her, and it's like every now and then she can still tap into it, but there's still something more to go, and it's just like, my heart just goes out to her. Like, she has had a brutal last year and a half. Like, really, I don't even know if I would have been able to come on and do this show at this time.
That story of what losing her dad and losing her mom, like, so close together from the same thing, it's so heartbreaking. I just the more that I learn about her, the more that I love her. I mean, we really liked her before coming on the show. Anyways, she is also a Big Brother fan. We are also Big Brother fans, so she is part of our family, of the Big Brother family.
I hope she made a better winner pick than me. Just saying.
But it's been really nice to get to know her even more than that, because what I know her for is that she's a Big Brother fan. I haven't actually seen the show that she's on. I know her for being part of this community.
Yeah.
So, yeah, getting to know her and hearing some of these things that she's gone through and still being able to go out there and give a performance like that, I'd be all over the floor just crying. When she fell over at the beginning of it, and it was just like at that sort of part where she came out and she fell over, I'm like, I wouldn't even be able to get back up.
Okay, it was a lot. It was emotional to watch. There's a lot of emotion tonight overall.
Yeah, there was.
And then we have Kaitlyn, and this, I feel like every season when we do Dancing with the Stars, it's like we love covering the Bachelorette and the Bachelor and all this sort of stuff. And like, I always want to be all on board the Bachelor people, but I always was hesitant with Hannah, even though I know she won. And it's like, I was so set up to like this because Sorry Loki is one of Justin Bieber's best songs. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a good routine. It's going to be fun. It's just, there wasn't like that one moment where I was like, bam, that's it. Like, there was nothing that really like got me jumping up and down. It was like a solid 8.5, but I couldn't quite get to the 9.
The thing for me, it's been frustrating for me with Kaitlyn because I love The Bachelor and I love The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
We love this show. It is so fun and so messy.
Yeah.
And I love her. I loved watching her on the show. So when I heard she was going to be on Dancing with the Stars, I was like, all right, here we go. She's so great. She's got a big personality, which I know is going to be here for it. So because she's also really goofy and I just really like her. And then I knew also that she already has a dancing background. So I was like, okay, well, the thing that I like about the show is watching people grow each week, which is why I'm like in Nelly's nook here, where I'm like, oh man, each week getting better and better. AJ, each week getting better and better, sort of thing. But Kaitlyn's already good, and she was good from the minute she came in, which is, great. It's not a bad thing either, but because I root for the underdog of sort of getting better and better and better, which is ironically why I like Kaitlyn in the first place, because she on the Bachelor and the Bachelorette, she always felt that way to me, that she's sort of the underdog, there's someone that I can like relate to and feel for. But for some reason here, I'm feeling like, oh yeah, there's the Kaitlyn I know in the packages, and then she gets on the dance floor, and I'm just like, man, she's just so flawless. There's nowhere to grow, is what it feels like.
I think her routines need more personality, I think is it. Like, I think there needs to be a little bit more of Kaitlyn in their routines. And I mean, Artem's choreographing really, really just fantastic routines, but it's just they could be routines for anyone. And I want to see them for Kaitlyn.
All right, let's talk about Justine, which broke my heart tonight. I love her so much. And then she came out and sang Billy Joel. I also love Billy Joel so much. And that song always, always wrecks me. So watching her have this beautiful routine to Billy Joel, I was done. And this was already an emotional night. They were hitting all my stuff. Vernon's hitting it with the grandparents and stuff, which already had me, feeling a lot because I lost my grandmother this year. And Justine is going to come out with the Billy Joel. I couldn't. It was so good.
I just love her. Like, I love her spirit. I think she's taken to this competition so well. I mean, the moment I heard Billy Joel, I was like, okay, Jess is going to be all in on this for the moment.
All in on it.
I don't know anyone other than maybe Billy Joel who loves Billy Joel more than you. Like, I just...
Maybe Huey from The Boys.
Maybe.
Might love Billy Joel more than me.
You guys can compete over it because... Yeah. This was a great way to end the show. I think she's just been great in every routine. It's like, I think part of it's her acting ability to be able to sort of get into these different characters. I can buy her.
That's good.
In a dramatic thing.
It's true.
Yeah. And I can buy her doing something fun and lighthearted. We have a great season, though. I mean, we have so many good people. I don't think there's a consensus favorite. Like, maybe it's Kaitlyn, maybe it's AJ, but I just feel like there's a lot of different directions this could go still.
Yeah, I agree. It really is anybody's game, which is really nice to have a season that's like that, where we're kind of like, I really don't know who it could be. And with the group that's here right now, if any of them win, I'm going to be like, I'm all right with this, with the way that it's going right now.
Let's hear from you guys, though. Who are you rooting for? Are you in the nook with Nelly? Are you rooting for somebody else?
Who isn't in the nook with Nelly?
Well, apparently I wasn't, because I wasn't doing Vernon Cernan and got herself eliminated. But let us know in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.